Good morning, everybody. How are we doing? Sam United People's TV. Welcome to another morning news live show. Get involved. Fire in your comments and your questions. What are the topics for today? We're going to run through a little bit on the January transfer window, a little bit on Kobe, on Zirkzee, on AFCON, on Mason Mount, a little bit on Radek Vitek. We've got the quiz towards the end of the show. As always, it's going to be a prize. Remember, the raffle. Can I just say here, big up to everybody. We've already raised £400 for charity. Remember, 100% of ticket proceeds from this raffle going to be going to Great Ormond Street Hospital. And you donated your prize yesterday, so I add a little bit on the end. £400 have been raised so far. The raffle's going to run for another, I think, 7 days. Something like that. So that gives us time, if you're in the UK, so I can get the PS5 delivered to you before Christmas. And if you're outside of the UK, well, we'll just send you the cash equivalent. But get involved. Let me see who's here from the mods and the members. Let's go on with today's show. Good morning to you, Maddie. We've got Gungshi. We've got Carl. Some of the mods are out in force. Josh, you're there as well. JC, good morning to you too. But we've got some members. We've got Gora. We've got Ryan. We've got Darren. We've got Saeed. We've got Innes. We've got Miles. And some non-members as well. So hello. Eyeball Fizzy. Interesting username. Tom. We've got Nigel. And we've got Joel. Neville, son is watching Coco Melon, but I'm locked in via my phone. Get in, come on. I haven't quite reached that stage yet where I'm watching all the terrible TV, but I'm sure that's going to come at some point in my life. Yeah, I've watched. Did I used to watch bad TV? I remember I used to have cable back in the day, but I watched so much Cartoon Network that my dad got rid of it. My sister hated me for that. Hi, Jenny. Gungshi, good morning to you, man. You've always got a smile on your face. You're like the Cunha of United People's TV. Just always smiling, always gifting. Legend. What should we press? That one? I like that one. That one looks pretty cool. Should have a rave in here at some point. That'd be fun. No, I wouldn't actually. Bad idea. Good morning to you, Gungshi. Thank you very much. Miles, you got a kid on the way. Congratulations. My friend's going to have, their due date is Boxing Day, I think. So we all know exactly what's going to happen there. Our baby's getting born on Christmas Day. These are the rules. Right, let's run through the news. Please do get involved in the comments, fire any questions. And I left the link in fact, I'll do it again now. All right? Because I'm leaving the PS5 raffle as the pinned comment for the first half an hour of today's show. And the second half, I will pin the quiz link, which I've just popped in there. All right. So make sure you just open it if you want to. Right, let's go on with today's show. Did you see this last night? This just made me laugh. Benfica beating Napoli 2-0. Mourinho beating Conte. And Mourinho's comment after the game, right? He was asked by a journalist that he had a bag in his hand, presumably. What's in the bag? He goes, the bag is mine. It's McTominay's shirt. I gave him his debut. I benched Pogba to let him play at United. The least he could do was give me a shirt. And it just made me laugh, man. Mourinho loved. Did Mourinho see something? No, I don't think he... Well, he obviously saw something in McTominay, but remember it was Mourinho who played him as a number 6. He played him as effectively like the new Matic. That's what he kind of saw him as. So much so that there might be some of you who don't know this, but at the end of the year awards... Was it in Jose's first season or second season? Can't remember. I think it was first season. He just made up an award. He just named his own player of the year and just gave it to McTominay, just so McTominay got an award. Just made me laugh. Peak McTominay, man. He was fun as a United manager until he wasn't fun. Yeah, well done, Sam. That's kind of how it works. But it was very easy to get on board with Mourinho. Then that third season happened. Let's not even speak about that, right? Let's not even speak about that. Let's go on to the actual news. And this, I say news. At this point, man, Chelsea are just hoarding young players in their multi-club model. And it's going to work out for them major. Why is that mic so high? That's a little bit better. You can see my chin now. I need a shave. Your haircut. Look at this disgrace. That's a disgrace. Anyway, it just annoys me. I think, more than anything. Because 90% of the players, the young players that they sign, they have no intention of really ever playing them. They're just going to hoard them, sell them off at a profit, continue. It's their business model. Right? Man, someone reminded me down there, Witter. David De Gea winning Player of the Year. What was it? 3 out of 4 years? Something like that. And as great as De Gea was, it's not reflective of a football club that is shining, that your goalkeeper wins Player of the Year in 3 out of 4 years. It's bad, isn't it? Now, guys, can you just sit down and contain yourself, because this is the most exciting news of the year. Most exciting news of the year. Someone down there saying, would you be annoyed if United did it? I think that United would genuinely have an intention of playing some of these players. I don't think Chelsea do, seeing as they signed 40 senior players ahead of them. Might play Wrexham in Scandinavia in the pre-season. Ooh. Has anybody seen, I don't think it's been announced yet, Cameron? No, I do not need to grow out the beard. When I grow out the beard, it's like, you just get a really crap goatee. I've told you I've got those photos. Sod knows where they've gone. I grew it to the point where you could like hold a little tiny comb in it before. And no family or friends told me how bad it looked. And I blame them, really. It make me feel better. Yeah, it looks bad. If I could grow a full one, I'd grow that. 100%. Anyway, Wrexham. It's exciting. I think they're saying it's going to be in Scandinavia. So, who do we play? Rosenborg. It feels like we've had, was it Leeds and Rosenborg, I think. In the last 2 years, we've played in like Oslo in Norway and maybe Stockholm in Sweden. I think so. So it kind of feels like an annual thing that they do. Anyway, might play Wrexham out there. I know. Contain yourself. Now, yesterday was a busy day in United People's TV Towers. There were 2 videos that went out. Number one, I said I was going to do it, and I did it. It was like a full summary video of JJ Gabriel. Because it kind of feels like United are partly having their, no, I don't want to say having their hand forced, but I think United have realised that this JJ Gabriel situation kind of isn't normal compared to other 15-year-old players, because I don't think it particularly is. It really wouldn't surprise me. As it currently stands, if I was to predict, I think you could be looking at the youngest ever debutant for Manchester United. That's the way it looks like. That's what I covered in the video yesterday. It feels like he's kind of being fast-tracked. And it feels like United, this is kind of what I mean. I don't want to say United having their hands forced, but United know if they didn't do this, that he would be leaving. That he would have already left in the summer. And that he'd probably get his debut at a very young age at another club and break through. So it does feel like he's being fast-tracked. That's kind of what I covered yesterday. But a lot has happened since the summer. Nailing it with the under-18s. I think he's got 10 goals in 11 games, scored 2 hat-tricks. Darren Fletcher's played him in different positions, number 9, number 10. He's developing. Then he became the youngest ever FA Youth Cup debutant and goal scorer at Old Trafford. He's met Fergie, he's met Amram, he's trained with the first team twice. It's fair to say that a lot has happened for this lad since the summer, since he was kept on. And like someone down there, King Canton, are saying, we've got to do our best to keep him. Mate, we absolutely are. This is kind of the point I'm trying to make. United are, I'm saying going above and beyond. It kind of feels like they are. United are going out of their way to make JJ Gabriel feel special, and that the pathway for him is kind of different to everyone else. Because maybe it is. But I covered all that yesterday. I wonder if you'll see him in the FA Cup squad. I think that kind of depends on who we draw. I suppose it kind of depends on whether or not we beat Brighton as well. Can you see JJ playing before Kone? it's not impossible. Kind of depends whether Sekou Kone goes out on loan in January, which I think might be part of the intention of the club. Let's have a look what he's saying down here. Please tell me he's not going to Barcelona. A couple of you are saying down there. They wanted him in the summer. Anyway, covered that yesterday. And maybe in a few months' time, if there's more developments on JJ Gabriel and what's going on, we'll do another video. Because we did one in July. We've done one in December. This video here yesterday was the video version of the podcast. We're trying our best to make this as enjoyable a podcast as possible. So yesterday we brought in a sort of like little 30-second teaser at the start of the video, which gave you a hint as to what is to come. At some point soon, we're going to try and start making some short videos from the podcast. It's hard. It's really hard doing a podcast, man, with everything else we've got going on. But Dan and Nick, they're great lads. Big up to you. So I hope you're enjoying it, and we'll continue to do it. Next episode will be after the Bournemouth game, so we're going to record that because we play Monday night. We'll record it on Tuesday. We'll release it on Wednesday. Sasha saying just 3 Weetabix over the floor. That's what you get for eating Weetabix. I know, to be fair, quite like Weetabix. Little bit of agave? Agave. Nice. A little bit of almond milk as well. I don't drink hot drinks. I never have milk in the fridge. Richard's saying if it works out with JJ, we could be saving about 150 to 200 mil. Where you got those numbers from, dude? I don't know where you got those numbers. Rhyme, I agree on that. Shea Lacey will get minutes before Sekou Kone and JJ. He's definitely the closest. Exo, Sam, if Amram remains the manager, the kid will go. He would not suit Amram's system. I mean, if you've been watching him this season, dude, he'd very much suit one of those inside forward positions. Those 2 number 10 positions. Yeah. I disagree on that one. And little milk isn't that bad, man. I used to hate it, but I've kind of got along with it now. Right. Let's speak about the January transfer window. Do I expect mad amounts of signings? No. I think at some point, maybe towards the end of December, I'll do a video saying that my ideal January transfer window, and I'll say, look, in an ideal world, this is what I think will happen. I find this a little bit odd. Like the idea that, how is it that AFCON could shape United's transfer window? So, this is quite bad, actually. I didn't quite realise this. Even if Ivory Coast, Cameroon and Morocco are all out by the round of 16 in AFCON, Ahmad and Mbeumo and Mazraoui will miss 5 Premier League games. Let's have a quick look at what ones they are. I'll speak about Bournemouth in a second, but it's going to be Villa, Newcastle, Wolves, Leeds away and Burnley away. And they'll be back for the City game. Well, this is going to be back for the City game, but that's 5 games. Leeds and Burnley away. Burnley away is going to absolutely reek out the place. That's going to stink out the place. And Ellen Road, I'm not looking forward to. I'm glad it's a 12:30 kickoff, if I'm being completely honest. That's not going to be a good game. Anyway, 5 games. You know what's really annoying? Up until yesterday, I don't know whether anything has changed today, United still don't know whether Mbeumo and Ahmad are going to be available, and presumably Mazraoui too, are going to be available to face Bournemouth. We play them on Monday. Now, we spoke about this in the pod. It's just unlucky from United's perspective, because if we were playing on Sunday, we'd already know, it's guaranteed. They'd be in the squad. But because we play on Monday, because we've been chosen as the only game that plays on Monday, we still don't know. But I find it a bit odd that we still don't know now. Is there anything... I kind of presume at some point today we'll get confirmation. We'll see if anything has actually come out since I've been on the show. Nope, not yet. I find it odd. Like, why is it that it's 3 days before the game and we don't actually know whether or not they're going to be here? Danny's saying there'll be a massive drop-off and it'll all be the manager's fault. It's going to be so tiresome. I'll be honest. I'm not looking forward to watching United without Ahmad and Mbeumo. I know that Mbeumo in these last couple of games has not been the levels that he set himself in October. He's been a little bit off it. But still, the right-hand side is... If we've got any creativity going forward, it's down the right-hand side. So replacing both of those is going to be sticky. You know it's going to be Delo. Probably going to be Mason Mount. I'll speak about Mount a little bit later in the show. But just the idea that AFCON's going to shape United's transfer window, I don't really understand what they mean by that. What? Does that mean, what, if they stay until the final and therefore miss more games, then United are going to sign players? Or do you mean if they get injured? Like, what is it about AFCON that's going to shape United's January transfer window? We're not signing just for January. We're signing for the rest of the season. We're signing for next season. You know my own personal preference. If we're going to sign someone in January, I want it to be someone that we would sign in the summer that we can bring forward, not someone else as a stopgap. It just makes sense. Yeah, I know, like you could be possibly accounting for injuries, but it seems a bit strange. And like the two names in terms of exits are Kobe and Zirkzee. Zirkzee is saying, what's the most games they can miss? I don't know. When is the AFCON final? Let's have a look at the AFCON schedule, actually. AFCON schedule. Right, let's go through. Group stage, round of 16. Quarterfinal is on the 9th of Jan. Semi-finals on the 14th of Jan. And the finals on the 18th of Jan. So, worst case scenario, they miss the City game as well. That's sticky. We don't really want them to be in the final because look at what we got City at home, and then a week later we got Arsenal away. And the final is on the 18th of Jan. So if they win, they're partying. Fly back on the 19th. I mean, they'll be fit. You'd rather didn't get to the final. From a selfish perspective. No offense. But that's the worst that they can miss is definitely the City game and maybe not be 100% fit for the Arsenal game. But in terms of the exits, there are two names that just keep reverberating. And these are probably going to be the main two names that we talk about in terms of exits come January. Kobe, you know how I feel. Well, you know how Kobe feels as well, right? He wants to leave. Only on loan. I think it's a good thing. Like, I've never seen anything that suggests that Kobe wants to leave Manchester United on a permanent deal. Everything you've seen is wants to leave on loan. Just a straight up loan. And Napoli, right? So Napoli's sporting director was speaking about yesterday. Again, his player's been linked with Napoli since August. Age, potential transfer opportunity. We've got some important absences right now. Who else is missing for Napoli? I know that De Bruyne is out for 3 months. Napoli injuries. Napoli injuries. Oh, they got Anguissa out as well. Didn't know that. So Anguissa's out. He's out until the end of, mid-Feb. He's missed 20 games. Damn. So De Bruyne or Anguissa, so that's probably why they're looking for a midfielder then. Lobotka, how long's he out for? Oh, no. He's only been out since the 3rd. Well, that's why they're potentially looking at him then. It's not just De Bruyne. Mainoo to Napoli feels like it's going to happen. Hey, look, I did see that yesterday, but there's no way I'm going to have a conversation about any Sergio Ramos to Manchester United news. I could probably just take a dump on the floor right there. I'm not going to do that because that's weird. But I could, and that would be about as accurate as that Sergio Ramos news. I'm not touching that with a barge pole. Sergio Ramos. Come on. Right. People are asking down there, and I think you're correct. Here is the link for today's quiz. I've just dropped it in the chat, and I will now pin that to the top of the chat. So if you look at the chat box, look at the top. There's a white box there. That's got the link in. Don't we need 2 players for every position, says Sasha. That conversation exists when you're playing in more than one competition. That conversation is exactly why this... yeah, that was a bit of a random comment. It just came out. If we were playing in the Champions League, I don't think Kobe would be asking to leave in January. I don't particularly think that there would really be... I'm sure there would be some frustrations with a lack of game time, certainly. But I don't think it would be anywhere near as bad as it is now. This is a consequence of us losing the Europa League final and us only having one game a week. This was guaranteed. And the exact same conversation really exists around Zirkzee. Two players who are on the fringe. I would personally say that Kobe's got more... I don't want to use the word right, because I think that's just a wrong way to describe it. I think Kobe's got more justification for being more annoyed than Zirkzee has. Like, Zirkzee's an attacker. Man United have scored the third most goals in the Premier League behind City and Arsenal right now. Man United have been attacking it. Okay. It feels like such an odd thing to say, because I watch United games and I come out of most United games feeling like we could have done better in attack, that we could have finished better, we could have created more. Crystal Palace, like, we hardly created anything from open play, but we scored 2 set pieces. Great finish from Zirkzee, by the way. Kobe, like, our midfield has been a problem all season, and it will continue to be a problem for the rest of the season. It's not really like about showing potential, but it's more about the problems that kind of currently exist in the squad at the same time. The pathways, I think there's a more obvious one in the middle of the park than there is in the number 10 roles, where you've got Cunha, you've got Mbeumo, you've got Mount, you've got Bruno, you've got, Šeško's been out. I'm not going to read that comment out, JC. By the way, I'm not going to dump on the floor. All right? FYI. Anyway, this is what's been reported on the... Can we stop talking about that? I shouldn't have said that. I feel like Hagrid. Shouldn't have said that. This comes from Sky Sports Italy, saying that negotiations with Roma for Zirkzee are underway. You've got Lyle Thomas from Sky Sports following that up, saying that Roma want to sign him initially on loan with the right to buy him if certain conditions are met, which I presume would be the exact sort of deal that we got for Rasmus Højlund. If I remember correctly, Højlund's wages were covered. There was a loan fee and an obligation in the region of 40 to 50 million. Something like that. And the obligation kicks in if Napoli finish in a Champions League place, which they should be doing this season, unless they have a second half, end of the season wobble, which I don't think they will. So I think they'll sign him. Let me see what you're saying down here in the chat. Glenn's saying it's because we're scoring set pieces. Feels like we aren't scoring many, though. It's a strange fit. I'm really happy that United have found the weapon of set pieces. It has been... I'm not going to say a get out of jail free card, because that's just, again, the wrong way to describe it. It's a weapon in the Premier League. All the other teams are using it. Arsenal have been using it for 2 years. So I'm glad that we've learned that. Now you just got to combine. You've got to make it so that scoring from set pieces is not your only weapon. It's a weapon in your arsenal, but you're also scoring plenty from open play, and that's what we're not doing enough of. Anti's saying Italian clubs are always so cheeky. Always want loans. They do. But also, the money in Serie A compared to the Premier League, it just doesn't compare anymore. It really, really doesn't. What is a right to buy? Well, it's just different. Initially on loan with the right to buy him. So that would be a purchase. No, what's it called? An obligation is where if certain conditions are met, you have to buy him. Whereas the right to buy is sort of you agree a price with United saying, all right, so at the end of the season, regardless of what happens, we can buy him for £40 million. So that's a right. Like, you agree a price before he goes out on loan. So he's saying that, but then you've got Sky, Kavi Solihull from Sky saying that actually Zirkzee wants to stay. Do you want Zirkzee to stay? No, again, that's the wrong way to describe it. Do you think Zirkzee will stay? With Kobe, I feel... I'm not going to use the word convinced. But I really do feel it's the right thing for United to let him go when it's obvious that there's no intention of giving him the minutes that a player of his talent does actually deserve. Regardless of whether or not he fits in the system. I don't want to get into those arguments. A player of Toby's quality at this age should be playing. And he's not going to play at Manchester United. That has become abundantly obvious, and that's not going to change in the second half of this season. So don't kill the relationship with Kobe and United. Let him go out on loan and reassess in the summer. Might be the same conversation in the summer. Maybe. Zirkzee. Look, someone down there saying I wouldn't be offended if he stayed. I'm not gonna. I don't want to force Zirkzee out. I don't want to push Zirkzee out. I just don't know if we'll be a drastically weaker team if he was to leave. I don't particularly think we will be, and that's that. You can't say that without sounding like a bit of a dick. Right? I don't mean that in a dickish sort of way. It's kind of how I feel. I think he'll want to stay. I think United probably will want him to stay from a squad depth perspective. But I don't particularly think that we're a weaker outfit if he was to leave. That's kind of what I think. Glennie saying, I want Zirkzee to stay. Seems like he's got a good attitude to have around the squad. Big question still, is he good enough? Yeah, I've got nothing against him whatsoever. Someone down there saying that we forced Højlund out. I still don't get why when he's better suited to Zirkzee in this formation. Yeah, to be fair, we kind of did force Højlund out. We forced Højlund's hand. That's what we did. I suppose that's the same thing, right? That was pretty ruthless, what United did with Højlund. I still do wish that we spent that money on a central midfielder. Felt like that. FA Cup is coming up. We'll need Cobby. Mate, the FA Cup this season, like the Brighton game, for example, that's on a weekend. I think they've switched it. Previous seasons, I don't know whether I'm right or wrong on this one. Previous seasons, the FA Cup has been midweek. Most games. I think when you get towards the latter stages, it kind of switches to weekend, and ends up going to Wembley and stuff like that. But I swear this season, I don't know whether every game's on a Saturday, but I know the Brighton game's on a Saturday. There's a whole empty weekend. I think there's another empty weekend in February for the is it fourth round? So actually, FA Cup this season, they're making space for it in the Premier League schedule, so it's still only once a week. So you're saying that like we need Cobby in the FA Cup? It's just we're only playing once a week past I think it's the 10th of January. It goes back to one game a week. We're in this little tiny period here between the start of December, around about the 10th, around about a month, just over a month, where we're actually playing more than once a week. That's the only time that's going to happen this season. Past January, we're going back to once a week. So this idea that we need two players in every position, it's just not the case this season. Hasn't been the case, hence why Zirkzee's frustrated, hence why Cobby's frustrated. Right? Yeah, I know. Might not be Brighton. We might end this season with 40 games in all competitions. Because we went out the first knock-ins against Grimsby. Could do it against Brighton as well. And if that is the case, it's a 40-game season. You can't keep a squad United's size and international footballers happy in a 40-game season. Hence why we're having some fallouts. And also, it's just obvious that Amorim doesn't want Cobby in a midfield too. And that sucks. But true. What else are we saying down here? We're going to move on to speak about Mason Mount next. Main issue with Mainoo going on loan is, from United's perspective, it's like putting a prized possession on Amazon, but you don't want to sell it. Teams will be courting him and offer development plan. It comes with risks. I would agree on that. But if I'm weighing up the risks, and if on the one hand there, you're correct. If United were to allow him to go to Napoli, then he's away from Old Trafford. He could start speaking to different people. He'll get influences in his ears, and other clubs are going to start looking at him. And it might change his mind. He might leave United for 6 months. And I speak to McTominay and be like, I tell you what, man. I think I can actually be all right leaving United. I didn't think I would before, but coming here has changed my mind. But on the other hand, if you keep Kobbie at United, and I feel pretty certain on this one, if you keep Kobbie at United for the second half of this season and you don't play him and this whole season continues, and then the World Cup happens and he doesn't go, I don't think he'll forgive United for that. I don't think he'll forget that. So I think past that point, he'll then be making the decisions himself. And this idea that Kobbie only wants to leave United on loan, I think that could change in the summer. I don't know whether he put in a transfer request per se, but risks on both sides. And remember, someone's mentioned it down there, Gordon. Kobbie's still not signed that contract. Remember, these contract conversations with Kobbie have been going on for about 18 months. And let's be totally honest, I think he was right not to sign a new contract. At this moment in time, the decision to delay that has been the correct one from his own perspective. Chris, Kobbie's got a lot of years and lots of World Cups to play in the future. He's not really. Let's be honest. What is he? Is Kobbie 20 now? How many World Cups do you conceivably play in your career? He's 20. And the World Cup's coming next summer. So by the time the World Cup comes around, he'll be 21. So he'll be 25 for the one after that. 29, 33. You've got 2 more World Cups where you're kind of in your peak. And a third one if you're really good and you've got the longevity and you can play at 33. Other than this one. You've got 4 World Cups in your whole career. Realistically. If you're a top level footballer. And who knows what happens in 4 years' time? Who knows? That's what I mean. There's not that many opportunities. And you've got an England team. Let's be totally honest. We should be doing something at this World Cup. We say that every bloody World Cup. Who am I kidding? 4 years' time. You probably say the same thing no matter who England boss is. But yeah, that's why I don't really buy into that idea. So don't worry about it. It's in 4 years' time. It's a World Cup, man. JC. Love you, man. What's this one? Can I press it? This one feels a bit like Mastermind, I think. Gets a little bit dark and moody in here. Ooh. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Welcome to 103.5. Don't know why I was saying that. JC, you're a ledge. Thank you, dude. Big up to Maddie. Big up to Alex. Hope the community's enjoying themselves. I hope you're all enjoying the quiz. We've got another one coming here today. So we've had, 8 giveaways so far. That's the wrong one. Press that button. 8 giveaways so far. Today's the 9th. Plus the raffle. I don't know what else we've got going on. Yeah. What we've got going on down here. Right, let's move on. Let's speak about a player who's at the club and who's staying at the club and who's having an impact. I'll tell you what. I'm going to leave this open to the floor. Right? My lunchtime video today is going to be on Mason Mount, on his season so far. I want to know your opinion. What do you think about Kobbie? It's Kobbie. What do you think about Mason's season so far? I'm not just talking about compared to other seasons, but just how important do you think he is to this United team right now? Because statistically, we're certainly a stronger team with him in. I mean, you can look at that. When he starts and when he doesn't start, 2 very different win percentages. 71.4% with, 25% without. Could that be coincidence? Maybe. I remember us looking at a similar stat. Actually, I think the stat that we looked at before was how many goals we score how many goals we concede when Casemiro's on the pitch versus when Casemiro's off the pitch. I think that was the other one that we looked at kind of like this. Yeah, what's your take on Mason Mount? John, you're saying he's getting better as he plays more games. And you're saying he's shown importance this season. Daz, you're saying he's been good, fits the system. Tech, you're saying I never rated him when we signed him, but he looks to be important when Mbeumo and Ahmad go to AFCON. And you're saying he needs to stay fit. Superstar saying the team plays better when he plays. Josh, you're saying crazy to say, but his legs have been valuable. Valuable legs. His pressing ability has made a difference. Glenn's saying he's happy with Mount, getting better each game. Someone down there saying he's a starter. I really hope he stays fit. Could get an England call-up. I don't. I'll be honest. I don't think Mount's going to get into the England team. I know Thomas Tuchel loved him before. I think Thomas Tuchel was his Chelsea manager, wasn't he? I just don't see it happening. But Mount, for all the disappointment that's been the first... Is this his third season as a United player? Is it his third? I think it's his third. Bloody hell. For all the disappointment that there has been, it's all been about fitness, isn't it? Realistically, all the problems with Mount have been about fitness and injuries. This season, if you're looking at Shaw and Mount, something changed with Shaw. We covered this. Remember I think United sent him out on like a 2-week warm weather training camp to Qatar, where he had loads of like tests, like advanced tests done, and they found like an imbalance in his right leg, I think, in terms of the muscle power there compared to his left leg, which probably came as a consequence of rehab and what happens, and like, your other leg compensating and then becoming too strong versus that other leg. Maybe, I don't know what Mount's injuries have been. What have Mount's injuries been? Hamstring? Muscular? I think they've been muscular. Helps having Bruno in the team. Their understanding's on a different level, says Asek. Hey, look, that game, I said I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed watching Mount be deeper than Bruno, and that ball that he laid through, that through ball just on the ground, right into Bruno's path, and then he tried to cross it. I think he tried to square it to Cunha, but it was blocked by the defender. You rarely see how many times have you seen Bruno be put through with some sort of like sick pass like that from 20 yards deeper? Like, rarely, because it's always Bruno doing the pass. He's never on the end of it. He's the one doing it. So it's good to see that. It's just a case of staying fit, really. Playing once a week has certainly contributed to Shaw's improved fitness this season, Casemiro's improved fitness this season, and Mount's improved fitness. I think Mason Mount is 28. Someone's saying 26 down there. Am I wrong? 28? Don't think he's his youngest. Like, Cunha's 26, isn't he? Oh, shit, he's 26. Hey. He's got years ahead of him. Fair play. Oh, you can't actually see it. It's down there. 26. Born in Portsmouth. I remember my mate went to uni in Portsmouth on a night out there. It's a good night out. I didn't realise he was 26. That's good. Let me see what you're saying down there. Gungshi is saying, I think Mason is getting better and better for United. Brings a lot to the team. Not just goals, but a sense of motivation and energy. And what Josh said earlier, I do agree with, by the way. United's press has been at its best when Mason Mount has been in the team. Random question, right? Let's say everyone's fit and available. They're not, but let's say everyone's fit and available for the next game. What's your front three? Who are you starting as your front three? It feels like you've got to get Mount in there. Does that mean you're dropping one of Cunha and Mbeumo? You're not dropping Mbeumo. Does that mean you're leaving Cunha on the bench? It kind of does feel like that. It's kind of Cunha or Mount on that left-hand side. Because I think you're starting Mbeumo, but Mbeumo's going to be missing. So for the next 4 or 5 games, it's going to be Cunha and Mount, which I'm fine with. It's actually quite good. Someone down there saying, I'm going to run through what you're saying about the front threes. Mount and Mbeumo and Šeško. That's from Giraffe. It's from SSS and also from T10. You're all saying the same thing. Carl, you're saying Cunha and Mbeumo and Mount. So you're actually leaving Šeško out. Mount, Cunha, Mbeumo, says Chris as well. Yeah, it's interesting ones there. I think I think United are a better team with Šeško up there in terms of the shape. I don't like Cunha playing furthest forward. I don't think Mount should or could play there. He can on paper, but I don't really want him to. And Mbeumo's best position right now is on that right-hand side. But yeah, the numbers don't lie, peeps. United have got a significantly stronger record when Mason Mount starts the games versus doesn't. I mean, he was always going to be in the starting 11 against Bournemouth anyway. I think so. Flexible, fluid front three. It kind of works to a certain point. But having a target man like Šeško, we have missed it. Let's be honest. What exactly is Šeško's injury? Is it knee? Yeah, it was a knee injury. We don't know exactly what the extent was, whether it was a ligament injury, X, Y, Z. No, I don't think we were ever told. But it was a knee injury. Can Mount play behind Bruno? Well, Bruno's playing as a deeper central midfielder, so if you're playing Mount behind Bruno, you're playing Mount as a centre-back. Don't think that's going to happen. Let me see what you're saying down here. Šeško gives us more options, but will he start? Oh, he's not going to start against Bournemouth. So against Bournemouth, you're probably looking at what you saw against Wolves. Cunha playing furthest forward, starting furthest forward, Mount on the left, and Mbeumo on the right. But then it kind of chopping and changing. Remember, I saw Cunha playing like right wing back at certain points against Wolves, and then Mbeumo being the furthest man forward. And someone down there saying Mount and Bruno can interchange. And I do agree on that one as well. We'll see. Do we know our full 11 if fit? Honestly, not really sure we do. I think that opinion would probably change according to who we are playing and what sort of game we're playing in. I don't think we've got a fixed starting 11. Maybe you could say the same thing about any team. That's what I feel. But what we're saying down here. My issue with Cunha is he holds the ball for too long. Why someone always ring me? Every time. I think they do it out of spite, really. They don't. That's a lie. Do you think we likely see Martinez start a game this December? Yeah. I think we'll see him start a game. What game would you start him in? Curious question. These are the games we've got coming up. 4 games left in December. I mean, I suppose you're probably looking at Wolves at home, aren't you? You'd either look at Bournemouth or Wolves, and I don't know why you wouldn't just continue with Shaw right now, considering he's in good form and he looks fit. I don't think you're going to start him away at Aston Villa. Home against Newcastle is going to be a tasty game. It's probably Bournemouth or Wolves, and I would just say err on the side. I will always err on the side of caution now with any player with any injury. I think United have switched up behind the scenes in terms of how we are managing injuries, and I think it's actually helping us. Hence why Šeško, I don't expect... he might be in the squad against Bournemouth, but I think United are going to wait an extra week and see if he can be back for Villa. That Villa game is going to be... Eesh. I'm terrified about watching Army of Field in that Villa game. I'll be totally honest. Yeah, I think Wolves. Wolves would be my prediction. And you're saying you start him against Newcastle. What, against the world's bloody tallest striker? How tall is Voltemade? That guy's like a door and a half. Nah. I wouldn't start him there. Anyway. Right. I just want to quickly, there's two more things I want to quickly speak about before we move on to the quiz. Nah. Little teaser. Anyway, make sure you get involved in the raffle, by the way. Link is in the description. £1 a ticket. £1 a ticket. Remember, 100% of ticket sales going to charity. I'm not taking any of it. It's all going to Great Ormond Street Hospital. And then someone's winning a PS5. I just thought this was cool. You know, we were talking about good loans. We've spoken about Harry Mass plenty. And Radek Vitek being nicknamed the Wall at Bristol City now. He's actually kept the most clean sheets in the Championship. He's got the second highest save percentage out of all keepers in the Championship. And it's fair to say that he's been making a good impression. It will be... You know what I said on the podcast this week? Of course you did. You listened to it. I said, you know what we haven't spoken about? Really? In like 6-7 games now. What is it that we were talking about every single week for the first 6, 7, 8 games of this season? Every week we came on here and we had a conversation that we didn't want to have. That we now haven't had since Sunderland. We haven't spoken about the goalkeeper, have we? At all. Like, Le Mans has just come in and killed that conversation, man. It's so refreshing. Because I was getting exhausted with it. It's just getting dead exhausted with it, man. It's just like, but now we don't have to. It's class. So big up to Sani for making that happen. And as it stands, I think what you're looking at is quite an obvious 1-2 at United. Sani Le Mans, for me, so far this season, let's see what progresses for the rest of the season. But he very much looks like he is capable of being Manchester United's number one. And having number one on the back of his shirt. And I think Radek Vitek coming in as a number 2, with Bayende leaving, Tom Heaton maybe stepping into a coaching role. It kind of seems a bit obvious, but I suppose he already is really a coaching role. Coach but not coach. He's having a really good loan spell. Yeah, I think there's a possibility of seeing Vitek as number 2 next season. It kind of makes sense. Right? We'll find out. Does Onana have a sell on? Did we loan him or sell him? We loaned him. So we should be able to get some form of cash for him. I don't know how much. Will Vitek accept being another Sergio Romero? I think that's a good question. Vitek has made it clear, like if you've not seen the quotes, they're all down here at the bottom of the article. Before, right? There's a lot in his article. There you go, look. This is what he said a while ago. His dream is to become United's number 1 goalkeeper. That's my plan. I'll do my maximum for that, and we will see. I'm focusing to play for Bristol and only can do my best. But one day, it will be my dream to play for Manchester United. So, Vitek wants to be our number 1. And it would be nice to go back to a sort of De Gea and Romero time. Eh? Man, we were spoiled then. Best number 2 arguably the best number 2 I've ever had. Probably is. But it's nice not to have to speak about a goalkeeper. I haven't done a Vitek video just yet. Yeah, I could potentially do one next week. We'll see. I've done one on Harry and Mass, so it might be appropriate to do one on Vitek as well. I think a lot of you would be interested in that. Right, shall we? Shall we? You see that pin chat, which must mean only one thing. Come on the quiz. Come on the quiz. Siraj saying healthy competition. Yeah, it would be. That would be. Currently, that's my prediction. Le Mans is our number 1 next season, properly. Number 1 on the back of his shirt. Radek Vitek coming in and being our number 2. And we sell Onana and we sell Bayende. And Heaton goes and becomes. To be fair, Heaton could actually stay as a 3rd choice. He's probably happy doing that. Van der Hau. Just like a really bad. Was it a goatee he had? I'm sure he did. Raymond. Van der Hau. Show me that. Am I thinking the wrong one? Am I thinking of Taibbi? Who had a terrible one? Oh, it was bloody Massimo Taibbi, wasn't it? Who had the beard? Who had a tash? Taibbi hasn't got a tash either. I remember him wearing those bloody joggers with socks tucked in. What was it? I swear it was Van der Hau. Van der Hau. Man United. Have I made that up? Never had a tash. Oh, is it Ed De Hoy? Oh, whoops. I'm thinking of Ed De Hoy. Oh, there he is. Yeah, I'm mixing it up with Ed De Hoy. Look at that. Illegal. Look at that number. Must be mixing it with Ed De Hoy. Thank you very much. Anyway, move on. Barthez? Did Barthez ever have one? No. Right. Let's get on with it. Let's have some fun, all right? There's 142 of you waiting. Let's make it 150 and then we'll get cracking, all right? The rules of the quiz. If you are new in town, welcome aboard. Make sure you subscribe. This quiz happens at the end of every show in December, and there's a prize at the end of it. So make sure you get in contact with either Alex or Maddie on our Discord. That's how you get your prize. 5 questions. Fastest finger first gets more points. And whoever's top of the leaderboard come the end of the 5 questions, they win the prize. You ready? Let's go. Could have been a quiz question, that one. There's obviously going to be a stinky question in here. It's going to be hard. Right, let's see what's number 1. Who currently wears a number 7 shirt for United? Look at that. Wrong one. Ahmad, Mount, or Bruno? Is anybody going to get this one wrong? Are we going to have the first ever 100% correct question? No, we're not. Someone said Ahmad. 3 of you. It's a disgrace. We'll call it fat finger syndrome. We'll let you off. Mason Mount, of course. Misclicked Staffo. It's your fault. You clicked it. Right, Mikey, you got... Oh, look at that. 971. 3 of you. Bang, bang, bang. All right. Nice easy points for everyone to get started with. Warm the shoulders up. Ready? Question 2. Who scored United's second goal in the 2024 FA Cup final? Good question. Bruno, Mainoo, Højlund, or Casemiro? Watch out for the misclicking. Oh, Cobby. Man. I won like 400 quid on that. Because I put 50 quid on United to win. And we went 2-0 up. And we were like 9-1. Big up, Cobby. Garnacho got the first. Right. Let's see what we're saying in the leaderboard. Leaderboard. Rev. Strong. 2 strong answers so far. Always a lot of points going on up there. A lot of points. Rev and John at the top. Lucifer. The devil was still here lurking. Right. Let's see who's number 3. Well, question 3. You ready? 3, 2, 1. Which United legend's son made his debut for the under-18s last weekend? Now, we've already spoken about this. Rooney, Fletcher, or Carrick? I even brought the picture up. Even told you his name. Jace. Not Jason, just Jace. It is, of course, Michael Carrick. 65 of you remembered that. 60 of you didn't. That's how it works, Sam. Well done. Bit of maths. Who was top? Uh-oh. The devil's flying up here. Who was fastest? Lee? Lee was fastest. But the devil's back. It wasn't Fletcher. It was Michael Carrick. Fletcher's sons, Tyler and Jack, have been playing for the under... Actually, I think they're too old for the under-18s now. They're playing in under-21s. Right. 2 questions left. Question 4. It's a good way to test your United knowledge, actually. You're all smart United fans. Yeah, you're welcome. Well, actually, you can tell Alex, because Alex does the questions. Right. Which United player has the highest XG this season? Expected goals this season? Casemiro, Cunha, Mbeumo, or Bruno? What would I do? I'm stuck between 2. I think I'd choose Mbeumo. Oh, come on. Really? Damn. I got it wrong as well. I got it wrong. That's what I mean. That's a tough one. Oh, it's a tough one. There's going to be some fuming people in the chat. Right. Who's top of the leaderboard then? Who got it right? Fraser. Jeff, you got it. Jeff, fastest finger first? It was. Who's top of the leaderboard now? Hi, it's Jeff. My name's Jeff. My name's Jeff. Anyway. Right. So, Jeff, we got Brian. You could not bottle this. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? We got Jeff, we got Fraser, we got Brian at the top. With 1 question left, which means, of course, maybe it's penalties. Either way, Bruno's top. That was tough. Last one. It's always the toughest question. So think about it. You ready? 3, 2, 1. Name this former United manager who was sacked after an alleged affair with the club's physio's partner. Read that before you answer. Dave Sexton, Ron Atkinson, or Tommy Docherty? That's a really hard question. I know what the answer is. It's Tommy Doc. Unfortunately, it's not Dave Sexton, really, when you think about it. Because if he was sacked after an alleged affair with the club physio's partner, would make sense, right? Anyway, it's Tommy Doherty. It was a hard one, and that's an old school one. Right, let's see who wins. Jeff. Oh, no. Oh, we've had a right change up in this leaderboard here. Who's come out of nowhere? Dragonite. Round of applause. Out of nowhere. Phil and Fraser got left in second and third place. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. It really should have been Dave Sex. It would have been more funny. But it wasn't. It was Tommy Doc. Dragonite, you've won. Congratulations, dude. Make sure you get in. Jeff bowled it. Not as much as Brian bowled it the other day, though. Oh, Brian bowled it real bad. Varun, you finished 16th. Steve, you finished 10th. That's not bad. 20th. It could be worse. Tiskin, I rage quitted after the third question. Good old rage quit. Man. Right, Dragonite, make sure you get in touch with Maddie or Alex on Discord and we'll sort your prize out. Okay? Brian, at some point you might win. But not today. Right, make sure you tune in tomorrow. Fwa. It's been another quite quiet week. As I said, today's lunchtime video. I want to do it on Mason Mount and have a conversation about him. Look at some stats. Just have a proper conversation. All right. If you are new here, please do consider subscribing, and please drop a like on the video. It makes a big, big difference. I'll be here tomorrow. Be here at lunchtime today, as always. Have a cracking day, and I'll see you soon. The Discord link, it should be in the description, as always. So make sure you check that out if you want to join the Discord as well. Much love, everybody.